Right here, come here.
What?
So we're just gonna have a little test. What's your name?
Mickey?
Mickey, do me a favor. Stand right there for me, Mickey. Here you go. All you gotta do is listen, pay attention, follow directions, okay?
I don't have to stand here long.
No, yeah, not long.
Okay.
Just long enough to do this trick with me, okay? What are you gonna do, Nick?
What?
What are you gonna do? You gotta listen, pay attention, follow directions, okay? You got that? What do you gotta do, Nick?
I don't know if I
Okay,
can.
you gotta listen, pay attention, follow directions. all you
That's
gotta
what
do.
she
you gotta do?
said too.
There you go, hold this, don't drop it, don't drop it, here you go, here we go. And grab the other one with the other hand, hold that, don't drop it, here we go.
You did
Just
that.
pay attention, just pay attention. Son of a gun, here you go. All right, hold them up there, Mickey. Hold them up high, turn around, look at all the pretty girls, tell everybody how many ropes you have. Well, they have.
Why?
How many ropes do you have, Mickey?
What?
Yeah, how many, just pay attention, like, listen, pay attention. How many ropes do you have?
I mean, what?
How many ropes do you have?
2?
Okay, how many do I have?
A piece of one?
Yeah, so that would be, how many ropes altogether?
2 + 1.
3, that would be 3. Let's count it, Mickey. 1,
2.
I need this one here, and that one there's what?
3.
3, so 3 ropes, 3 the same color, 3 the same size, right, Mickey?
What?
3 the same color, 3 the same size, right?
Yeah.
Remember, you just gotta pay attention, okay, what do you have to do? Okay, so 3 the same color, 3 the same size, right?
No.
No, different color, but the same size, right?
No.
No, the same color, same size.
No.
Are you still paying attention?
Yeah.
Okay, so 3 the same color, 3 the same size.
No.
No, what do we have, Mickey? Let's count them. So you got 3. Let's count. So that's 1. We can get this in right here. See, this will be 2. It's hard to do with a busted arm. You got 2, and this is 3. 3 the same color, 3 the same size, right?
No.
No, let's count them. Let's see. Look at that. 1, 2, 3.
No. Oh.
That would say 1, and that one's 2, and that one's 3. 3 the same color, 3 the same size, right?
Yeah.
So let's review. Who's paying attention here? Okay. Everybody pull it out real quick. But tell
Blast
everybody what we did first. 3 the same color and.
You messed up my rope.
No, yeah, just grab one and pull it real slow. Yeah, that's it. There you go. Good. That's 1. Oh, grab another one. That's 2. Good job. Here. That one there's what? 3. Good job.
But they're different lengths.
3 not the same size, right?
Right.
Right. Thanks for paying attention. Take a bow.
Yay.
Yay!
All right. Here we go.
Could you do more?
Yeah.
Take him on the road.
Well, that's right. I need to. Hey, you guys, I want to introduce my wife. This is Miss Gigi or Gloria. Can you guys give her a big hand for me? She's really the one that kind of keeps me in line. Yeah, I apologize for having a busted arm or a busted shoulder. Last night we were at the party barn. How many been to the party barn, by the way? Thank you guys. We sure appreciate it so very much. You need to come. It's a fun place. All right. But,
Sorry, I'm making the
we were
phone
actually,
shake.
doing a little hot dog winter roast for a football team out of Yukon that was celebrating their season. They had the inter-school party and they were giving away the trophies to all the kids and everything. So we were doing a little campfire, and there's a twig probably the size of my finger, and I was going to break it over my knee to make it small enough to go into the fire. And I went up like this, and right when I hit my knee, instead of my knee hurting, I popped my shoulder really bad, and something happened in my shoulder. And so they think that I tore a ligament or snapped something, I don't know. So, you know, I got to go get an MRI now. So it's pretty painful. So just saying that so if I mess up, I have a reason to
We're sorry.
call it something, okay? All right, so anyhow, thanks, for having me come out, you guys. I'm excited to be here with you, I really am. And I've seen a lot of you guys around town and had the pleasure of visiting with some of you, and some of you are brand new faces like you, Mick. I've seen you, but I thought it was just a picture. Now I see you in real life. You look good, buddy. Anyhow, so thank you for coming out tonight and hearing me talk, I guess. So I just kind of want to tell you a little bit about who really I am. I want to talk about what Piedmont has impacted in our life and everything. I'm from Jay, Oklahoma, Delaware County, up by Grand Lake, from a little town called Jay, and from a family of 16 kids, full blood, same mom and dad. I have 15 full brothers and sisters, and we're not Catholic.
But you didn't have a TV.
That's right. We just have a broke TV. That's what we had. So anyhow, full blood, all that. No twin, no nothing. My mama had 16 babies, and I still have 14 alive. My oldest brother and my youngest brother have both passed away in the last 3 years. So it's great from coming from a large family because there's so many things that you learn, that you didn't think that were important. As I grow older, I realized that those times that we had together as family, just how valuable they were, and the silliness that we did. But we were so poor that's how I think I ended up becoming a professional clown. We just entertained each other because we couldn't afford to do anything. So we would see things on TV, then we would act that out, the part that we saw on TV as kids and entertain each other. And it just kind of grew into performing for each other. Then in high school, I was introduced to theater and drama, and was going to be a stand-up comedian after I got out of high school. That was my thinking. And then was introduced to clowning as a professional clown, or as to go into professional clowning. And so it's kind of a funny story how that all happened. I graduated in 1978 from Jay, and after I graduated high school, I had no idea what I was going to do. I truly didn't know. I was just kind of some lost kid. And so I started working for this company called the CETA program. Has anybody heard, like Manpower? Have you guys heard of that?
Yeah.
But it was a program that I went around and evaluated homes for senior citizens and winterized them. And so I was buying all the material from this lumber yard to go back and winterize this home. We would put storm windows on their home, or put insulation, or whatever they needed to help the home get winterized. So I kept going back to this lumber yard in Jay called Delaware County Lumber. And every time I go back there, there's this guy there named Jerry, who just kind of was just a funny character. And so him and I kind of hit it off. He was always pulling practical jokes on me, because I've seen this guy like every day, and he was just a fun guy. So after about 30, 40 days of just constantly hanging out with each other, he comes to me, he goes, "Hey." And back in high school, my nickname was Rabbit. So he comes to me and he goes, "Hey, Rabbit," he said, "why don't you come over to my house this weekend with my wife and I and get makeup with us?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh." Is this guy asking me out, or is this really happening in my hometown? There's so many questions I had in my head. And he was dead serious. And I guess I had this look on my face that was like, oh, he doesn't understand what I'm asking. He goes, "No, getting makeup. I really understand what you just said, but I'm just kind of confused." So it really kind of set me back. He goes, "No, we get makeup. My wife and I get makeup together, and we're clowns." And I was like, "Oh, that makes sense. We're clowns." And so then I was kind of intrigued about this whole thing a little bit. So I went ahead and went over there, and it was kind of a crazy night, because the first time I ever ate those little pizza rolls, and every time my wife makes those pizza rolls, I always flash back to that time that I got asked out by a clown to go to his house to get clown makeup. So anyhow, it's weird, but how things like that happen in life, but they do. Am I going too fast for you? I'll slow down for you. I want you to get this, okay? Okay. So it turned out that we went and got in clown makeup that night, and we went around town, and it was just fabulous. It was just so much fun, because nobody knew who I was, and so it just kind of developed. But that night, the Lord spoke to me and said, "This is what you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be a clown." And I remember thinking and saying it out loud, "Well, how do I do that? I mean, how do you become a clown? I mean, holy smokes, So, but I really was completely lost. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew I was going to do some clowning. So Jerry, the guy that introduced me to clowning, his clown name was Spunky. And so him and I kind of start talking about all this stuff. And so we gathered this little clown club together called Spunky and the Gang. And so Spunky and the Gang, he just started partying. I mean, if you needed somebody to come to your grand opening, we went to their grand opening. If you want somebody at your garage sale, we went to the garage sale. I mean, it didn't matter. We just, every weekend, every day, I mean, for months and months and months and months. The next thing we know, we start recruiting everybody else, and we had, at one time, we had up to like 9-10 people clowning with us on weekends, and Spunky and the gang. And then we started getting some notoriety, notoriety, how do you say it?
We know what you mean.
Yeah. People started to know who we were in that community.
Fame.
Yeah, so then we started getting calls from shopping centers and malls and what have you, to come do things with them, and next thing we knew, it was just growing, and then I decided that because there was no internet or anything like that, so the only way you can learn is just go out and do it. And there wasn't any. I went to the library and I was trying to find books, and there really wasn't any books, and the only clowns that I knew was Ronald McDonald from TV, and Emmett Kelly from Ringling Brothers Circus. And do you guys remember the TV commercial that he was sweeping up the spotlights? The clown was? That's Emmett Kelly, if you remember that commercial. And I had the pleasure of meeting him years ago, but it was just kind of a cool deal, so I felt like things kind of went full circle. But, everything I learned, I just kind of learned by myself, and just, kind of trial and error and what have you. But it just kind of grew from that. The next thing I know, I was doing a lot of different events, and C.R. Anthony's. How many of you guys remember C.R. Anthony's?
Yeah.
Well, I went and did the grand opening for C.R. Anthony's up in Grove, Oklahoma. Not the grand opening, pardon me, a sidewalk sale for C.R. Anthony's up in Grove, Oklahoma, and which is just 12 miles north of where I grew up. And so we had so much fun there that the manager hired us to come back. And so I came back, and a couple of weeks later and all this stuff, then he offered me a job. Well, because I wasn't making enough to make a living, I went ahead and went to work for Anthony's for this main reason. Anthony's had a character. Most people don't know this because it really didn't get kicked off the ground for them. But if you take the initials of C.R. Anthony's company, the acronym becomes the word Craco. So they had the concept of making a character called Craco the Clown that would go to the Anthony's and do all the different stores openings and special promotions and things of that nature. So my manager at the time that got hired, he said, "Hey, we got this character that they're trying to do and kick off, and maybe you might be interested." I thought, yeah, that'd be a good way. I could go to work for this company. Then I'd have an inside track on becoming Craco the Clown and travel around and all this stuff, So I wrote a letter. I wrote this letter to the director of advertising for Anthony's. I said, "Hey, I want to be Craco the Clown. I'm coming to work for Anthony's. I'm at this store, and so on and so forth." And this guy's name was Ron Carpenter was the director. I believe his name was Ron. Anyhow, I wrote him this letter. He sent me a letter back. I didn't even really think he would answer it, to be honest. He said, "Well, that sounds great, but we keep this in mind if something comes up. But right now we use Ho-Ho the Clown for our promotions and stuff like that." And so if you guys remember Ho-Ho.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, well, here I am. If you need me, I'm ready to go. So next thing I know, I'm working for Anthony's, and then I get promoted. Next thing I know, I'm running the store. And then this is like 1980, and I'm at that store there in Grove for about 3 years running that store. Then they transferred me to Oklahoma City to 10th and Rockwell Anthony's, so I started running that store. So now I'm down here in the mix, and I'm going down there to the corporate office at downtown Oklahoma City on Broadway there, and seeing them and talking about, "Hey, remember me? I'm the guy that wants to be Craco the Clown," and all this stuff. Well, long story short, they never developed that character. And so I just get running the store, and then after about 8 years, I decided I'm going to be, at the time I was getting to be about 29, and I thought, I've got to decide if I'm going to do this again, because I wanted to be a full-time children's entertainer. I wanted to be a full-time clown. And it ended up that I was running about a $3 million store, had about 75 employees working for me, and hated every minute of it. But because it really wasn't in my heart, and I decided, I'm gonna leave Anthony's. I'm
You
gonna
never
go.
did show it to the customers. I recognize you.
Well, thank you.
That was my store.
Oh, okay, thank you very much. So I decided to leave, and I remember Mr. Sweet, Kenneth Sweet, who was the vice president of Anthony's. I sent him my little resignation letter and said, hey, I'm leaving to pursue other career paths or whatever, something like that, But in the meantime, Anthony's had hired me a few times to go do some other promotions around the Oklahoma City metro area as Chester the Clown. At that time, I was walking on stilts. And I was billing myself as Oklahoma's tallest clown, so I was 10 feet tall. And I was walking around the stores and all this crazy stuff, and I had a pretty cool little act. It was really, matter of fact, I could walk through the door just like that, just bend right down and walk in. It was crazy now because my niece killed me. It was pretty cool. But, and I was making, $20 an hour, really good money back then to do that clowning like that. So anyhow, it turned out that I decided I want to do it full time. I just turned 29. I'm thinking, I got to do this before to see if I can really make it as an entertainer, as a clown. And if I can't, then I still have time to hang my nose up and get a job and do this thing all over again and become a 9-to-5 guy or whatever. So that's what I did. And I remember Mr. Sweet came to my store and he comes in there and you guys remember the character of Boo Boo Bear? So that's who Mr. Sweet looked like.
Oh, Yogi and Boo Boo?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
We called our youngest daughter Elise
yeah,
Boo Boo.
okay, so Mr. Sweet comes walking in the store, and I'm like, oh, there's Boo Boo Bear. He's going to talk to me about my resignation. So he comes to me and goes, son, what is it you want to do? I said, well, I'm leaving to go be a clown. And he's like, and he knew that's what I was doing. He'd seen me at these different places when we did a grand opening around or whatever. He goes, really, son, that's really what you want to do? He did all he could do is talk me out of leaving and becoming a clown. He said, you can't make any money at that, you can't make a living, support a family, all this kind of stuff. Anyhow, thank goodness I didn't listen to him, because life's been wonderful since then. I left Anthony's, started clowning, turned out that ended up landing a TV show on Fox Network called the Fox Kids Clubhouse, and so I ran a local show here in Oklahoma City. When it used to be Fox 43 instead of Fox 25, it's Fox 43 back in those days. So that's like 1990, 91, and had that TV show for a couple of years, and then they changed the format, and then was recruited by McDonald's to become Ronald McDonald, and was able to tour the country as Ronald for 5 years, and just kept moving up in that arena. And so I've been blessed to be able to just starting my 41st year this year, making a living just partying and kind of like an attorney, they say. Well, nobody's an attorney here. But anyhow, so that's I'm blessed to be able to do that and have been for a long, long time. So, but I started. I did go to college at Laugh Makers, is what the name was, up in Aurora, Colorado, or Aurora, New York, and went up there for it's called Wells College there, and Laugh Makers Variety Arts. But in 1978, that's when I started the Chester the Clown character. But Chester the Clown character, I am registered with the Department of Clown Registry. Seriously. And that's in Virginia is where they have that registry. And the way they do it's really a cool thing. They take a goose egg, a real goose egg, okay? And to be registered, you have to send them a picture of your face, front side, left side, back side, top side, bottom, everything. They do all these different pictures, okay? And then they take this picture, and then they have an artist that actually sets up and has this goose egg that's on a little platform here. And they look at these pictures and they paint your portrait on this goose egg.
Nice.
And I mean, it's just massive detail. I mean, it's just really, really cool. And so they take that goose egg and they make two of them, one for the museum and then one for yourself. And we have one in our home. And it's and then they send you a certificate that says you're registered for the United States Clown Registry and things like that. So in Baraboo, Wisconsin, which is the Clown Museum up there, my egg is on display in that museum, and it's Chester the Clown. So it's kind of cool.
Wow.
It seemed like this big, I think I'm like 513. But they have all these little cubicle things with all these different eggs of all these professional clowns around the world that are registered here in the United States. And so I remember a few years ago, they take those displays and they put them on tour. So one time they had them at Circus in Las Vegas. And I had some friends here in Oklahoma that were out at Vegas, and they were at Circus and they were looking at everything, and they took a picture, and I didn't even know it, but it was on display at Circus and said, "Hey, we saw you at Circus." And I'm right here, no, here's it. And they sent me a picture of my clown egg and everything. So it's really kind of cool the way they kind of do that goofy stuff like that. But what would you expect in a clown world, right?
Did they get the egg yolk and egg white out of the egg?
Yeah, it's unique the way they do. It's a real goose egg. You would think it would be something not as fragile, but we are fragile. So anyhow, but I've been blessed to be able to do this business for a long, long time. I've been honored, like Paul mentioned a while ago. In 1994, the governor made a proclamation as Chester the Clown Day for the state of Oklahoma. Every October the 10th of every year is a day, so you guys don't have to work this year. Just take the day off. Anybody asks you, tell them it's Chester the Clown Day.
You're just clowning around.
Well, that's cool that he's got his own day.
And
October the
1994, and
October the 10th,
October
official
10th
holiday.
every year, and then also was
Why don't they tell us state employees that?
well, because it's a clown holiday, they already should know. But also, I was recognized by the legislators as a what do they call it here? They call it a citation of congratulations from the legislators for motivation through magic program that I have, that I tour the city or tour the schools around the state to promote learning and through magic and things of that nature. As an outstanding citizen for the state, they gave me this proclamation for that as well too. So I was and that's hanging at my farm out there if you guys ever come out there and see it. But it's been a pretty cool career, and very blessed to be able to be a part of it, and pretty excited about getting to come out here and share it with you guys tonight and everything. But my wife and I, we own Chester's Party Barn and Farm, and this year we just celebrated our 19th pumpkin patch, starting our 20th year this next year, and we have been truly blessed to be able to make an impact on the community, we feel. And here's just some highlights. We call it an impact sheet. We opened in June of 2001. We've had approximately 500,000 folks come visit our farm from various places, around the state as well as different parts of the country. They come out for birthday parties, school field trips, weddings, workshops, anniversaries, picnics, just a variety of different occasions and what have you. But we can host up to about 700 people pretty comfortable. We've done more. For one event, we did one corporate event a few years back, had 900 people that came to the establishment for a private party. So we've been blessed to do that. And then we are one of the top agritourism business in the state. You guys know what the term agritourism is? Has anybody not heard of that term? Who does not know? So we were chosen as one of the top agritourism businesses in the state of Oklahoma by the agritourism department for Oklahoma. And we were chosen as the Oklahoma agritourism business from the Department of Agritourism for the 2015 ad campaign. They came out and they took photos of our farm in 2015 and used our photos for the print advertisement for brochures and flyers and posters and etc. to distribute worldwide for the to promote agritourism in the state of Oklahoma. So it was from our farm right here in Piedmont, Oklahoma, was on various displays in Germany and France, wherever they were doing their different promotions to promote agritourism for the state of Oklahoma. And they chose us right here in Piedmont, so we were pretty excited about that opportunity. But we are one of the premier pumpkin patches in the state, not because Gigi and I say that, it's because it was told to us by the Oklahoma Department of Tourism. Discover Oklahoma TV show, we've been on it numerous times, and Metro Family Magazine, which is a local publication, it's pretty large here in Oklahoma City area. There's some other publications, so we've been blessed to be able to have that claim. But we have schools in groups from all over that come visit us, and then here at Piedmont honored us in 2016 for the Pride of Piedmont award in excellence. So we were excited to be able to receive that honor as well too. But we are more than just a pumpkin patch, and we're more than just a party barn. My wife and I, we really take a stake in this community. Piedmont's been very, very good to us since we've been here. We moved here in 1998, opened the farm in 2001. When we bought our place, it was actually an abandoned piece of property. So any of you guys know or remember Mike Brugan?
Mm-hmm.
So Mike Brugan was a gentleman that built the farm, and Mike, after he built the farm, he had married a young lady named Karen Royce from El Reno, and Mike had an accident, was killed a couple of years after they bought the property in an accident, I was told. And then Karen from at that time actually was devastated due to the death of her husband unexpectedly, and ended up leaving the farm. And nobody lived in the farm for like 12 years. It was an abandoned piece of property. So when I bought it, the grass was this tall and trees, and we have an indoor swimming pool, or had an indoor swimming pool at the time in our big event barn. Now the pool was 40 feet long and 20 feet wide and 15 feet deep at one end and 4 feet deep at the other end, and had a big diving board, 2 diving boards, and a big slide and retractable roof. So it was a really fun little place. But the pool was dirtier than the pond. It was nasty. It was horrible when we bought the place. And so, but for the first 10 years or so, we used it as we cleaned the pool up, and it took us a couple of years to get it all cleaned up to where it was usable. And anyhow, after about 10 years of private use, we decided to turn it into a party barn. So we ended up filling all the pool up and getting rid of all the water, and now we see about 300 kids in there. And it was a great investment for us because it allows us to do really more for our community. Being able to have that many guests come out there, you got to have a lot of room for people to sit. But now it's opened up for Stage Door to do more programs like that. We've done awards programs out there. We've had youth groups from throughout the metro area come and participate for their Bible studies or their get together with their men's group or whatever. And we have a stage in there. Underneath our stage is an 8-man hot tub that we just built a stage over because nobody uses a hot tub in our family anymore. So we use it to really make it an impact more for the community, we feel. And so with that, we say that we're in the party business, we say that we're in the pumpkin patch business, but truly, you guys, Gloria and I have been blessed to be able to say that we're really in the memory making business, and that's what we have done. We've been able to make a career out of making memories for children, for families, and to be able to do a first time experience for so many people. The first time they ride a pony, the first time they feed a duck, the first time they see a cow up close, the first time they pet a chicken or whatever it is. I mean, just the first time, and to be able to make that moment a real moment, because we know as young people, they go through so many different things, and we don't know. We always tell our crew, we've had probably, this year it rolled us up to about close to 400 young people that have worked for us over the last 18 years. And matter of fact, 2 of Paul's boys, Lisa's boys, everybody but Carl, and
Thea didn't say work there.
right, work for him. Yeah.
3 of our kids work there.
And so I can tell you a whole bunch of secrets about.
That's right.
And we're neighbors. We're only 1 mile.
Yeah, that's right. But we've had a lot of young people that have worked for us, and so we really try to instill in them the fact that we may be a farm, but we want you, and we know that we're probably the first job you've ever had, but we really need you to understand that this is more than just a farm. This is more than just your first job for us. We look at it, this is the start of your adult life, and you're going to be able to understand the importance that it takes to become a responsible individual. And so we implemented a program called the RAT mentality, and so these are just some of the things that we try to do with our kids. RAT, responsibility, accountability, and teamwork is what that stands for. And so we instill into these kids, or try to, the best we possibly can, and we're really even though I'm a clown, I really am pretty stern about it all. About making sure that they understand that if you understand the fact that you have to have, if you have this rat mentality that you're gonna be okay, if you understand that you've gotta be responsible for you gotta be responsible for your coworkers, responsible to mom and dad, to everybody, that you'll be okay, and then that's the R. The A is for accountability. You're gonna be accountable. You're gonna be accountable to so many other things and other people, and then you're gonna be understanding that you're not gonna do it only by yourself. It's always a team. And we kind of came up with a weird deal because as a clown, I guess I think of weird things. Because if you ever thought about what a rat does, well, I have. Because a rat does whatever it has to do to survive. That's what a rat does. And so a rat will go to the bottom of the trash can and grab the nastiest piece of food and eat it and drag it out and take it back to his family because a rat is responsible. And a rat will do that because he's held accountable, because he's going to drag that food back to the other rats that are in the nest to feed his family. And you never just see one rat. There's always a team of rats. So it's responsibility, accountability, teamwork.
And they're very smart.
Very much so. So we try to instill in our kids the fact that, listen, you've got to understand that you've got to be a rat. You got to have a rat mentality in order to survive in this world, because it's tough out there, and you're going to get egged up if you're not. You got to understand. You're at work at 8 o'clock, and there's a time for you to start work, because that's when your employer is going to want you to start work. Not driving in the parking lot at 8 o'clock, not getting out of your car and walking up, and you're working at 8 o'clock. And so 8 o'clock, if you're walking in the door at 8 o'clock, you're late. You need to understand that, because I may let you slack on that a little bit, but out there in the real world, they're not going to let you do that a lot of times, as all of you know, I'm sure. But we really talk about that. We really try to instill in them those facts and those things that you've got to understand to be a successful individual in life. And then the last point I want to make with you is 3 simple principles that we really drilled and was drilled into my head as a young man by a really funny individual. Most of you probably have heard of him, and maybe even voted for him at one time. But when I graduated from high school in 1978, Mike Turpin was the graduate speaker at our graduation. He at the time was the district attorney for Muskogee County up there, and so Mike came and spoke at our school, and that's the first time I met Mike. And unbeknownst to me, years later, he became a personal family friend of ours and everything like that. And at the speech that Mike gave on my graduation night, he talked about 3 principles in life that you got to have. You have to have a funny bone, a wishbone, and a backbone. And that just resonated with me. I'm not realizing that I was eventually going to be in clowning and children and what have you. But a funny bone, and basically what he was saying is that you've got to understand that you're going to have to find things in life that's going to make you happy. It's going to make you laugh, that you're going to answer the phone with, and you're going to love to do, regardless of what's going on around you. That you just do it for free if you needed to. You have to find something that you love, and that's called your funny bone. Then you have to have a wishbone. You have to have a goal, something to reach for, something to build toward, or what have you. You have to have something, kind of goal. And then the last thing is you have to have a backbone. You have to realize that that's not always going to be easy to get to those things. You're going to have strength, and you're going to have people around you that's going to help you and work through some adversities, and work through some sad times, and work through some difficulties and bumps in the road, the bugs on the windshield, whatever you want to call it, So if you have a funny bone, a wishbone, and a backbone, you're going to be okay. As long as you also have a rat mentality, I think you're going to be awesome, So we really try to look at it from that standpoint when we're working with our kids in our profession at the farm, to really make them understand the importance of that and everything. But Piedmont, I had when I moved to Oklahoma City in 1983, I had no idea I was going to be able to eventually become a vital part of this community. I felt like living over there in Oklahoma City and working there at 10th and Rockwell. And I had driven out here a few times back then, and it was just a little old town, and I thought, Piedmont's, it seemed like it'd be a pretty cool place to live. but, you know, fast forward 20-some years later, here I am, and it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made, you know, to move out here to Piedmont, and was blessed to be able to buy a great piece of property, and you know, be able to make an impact on the great community, and meet some wonderful people, and create some lifelong friendships with some great folks and everything. Gloria and I are members of Freedom Church. We've been members of our church here in Piedmont. Our pastors, Craig Edson and Michelle Edson. We meet now at the Northwood Elementary School. We've been there for 20-some years. We've been members since we've lived out here. And now we're building over here by the elementary, next to the old elementary, the primary. That's the church that we've been building for the last 15 years. But now we should be moving in first of the year. Things are rolling pretty positive for us in that nature.
Good.
Like that. So praise God for that. So basically, we're just excited to be here tonight, you guys. Thank you so very much for the offer and the opportunity. And hey, if you got any questions, I'd be happy to let Gloria answer them.
Thank you. How was the pumpkin patch this year?
I'm sorry.
Weather cooperated?
Yeah,
most of
we
the
had
time
one of
this
the top
year.
pumpkin patches. We had approximately 25,000 folks that came through. Our record's been just shy of 30,000 that come through on a pumpkin patch. But this year we had just a little over 25,000 that came through. So it's perfect, you know, great weather, beautiful weekends, great entertainment, really great, fantastic entertainment on the weekends. We have a live band, live music. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of a gentleman by the name of Eggert Cruz.
Yeah.
So Eggert was our headliner we had a Pumpkin Palooza weekend, and Eggert was our headliner for that weekend. And so Eggert came and performed 2 days out of that weekend for us, and brought a great stamp of approval on our community, you know, for that and everything. So it was fantastic.
How long have you and Gloria been married?
Well, why are you laughing? You didn't think you liked
See
that
if you
much.
can do, if we've got it.
Yeah, Gloria and I have been together for almost 10 years, but we should dated for 5 years. But we've been married we got married in 2014, July 28th, 2014. So yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, I did. Yeah,
How
but
long were you in your clown college?
it was basically like a semester, just there's another story about my college life. But I had also gone to Rogers State, but I was at a semester for the clown college up in Wells College in Aurora. But I also had gone to Rogers State, at the time it's called Claremore Junior College, and I had gone there before I went to Wells College. And when I was at Rogers State, or at what it's known today, it used to be Claremore Junior College, I was there for 5 weeks, and then they asked me to leave. And it was really the best thing that happened to me. Because here's the way it really happened that way. I remember the dean of the university. I got a note from our little house lady that takes care of the house that we were all living in. She said the dean wanted to see me, so I remember going and seeing the dean. And I walked in there, and he said, "Son, I've been seeing that you've been missing some of these classes, and things aren't working out very good for you, or it doesn't look very good for you and everything." And he said, "I just don't think college is for you." I said, "I don't think it is either."